All righty, everyone standing for the pledge already.
Oh.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone can just check their phones and make sure they're off or on silent, please. That would be absolutely awesome. I would like a motion to approve the minutes from July 16, 2018.
I'll make the motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is for you. There's other stuff in it too, in the back of it. And Matt, this is for you for the correspondence, Kathleen?
I have the resolution from the zoning board regarding Stephen Hoffman. That application was approved. I have the July impound report from Palmer's Ark. A letter from Rose Phillips regarding her Gold Award project. The building department report for July. Building department report for June. A letter from the county regarding the road closing for Mount Hope Road. This was actually received the day after our last meeting. I have a letter from Environmental Facilities Corporation regarding the disinfection and aeration tank at Hidden Valley. It's a summary and recommendation from their site visit. They Turn the Town's teal request. Resignation from Stu Carver from the VAR effective May 23rd of this year. The April, May, and June mortgage tax receipts from the county. Hidden Valley Water, a letter from them regarding flushing the mains on August 8th. Letter from Rockland Paramedic Services, requesting your endorsement as they move forward through the application process. Letter from Orange County Department of Planning regarding Cypress Creek removals and their comments, which copy went to the planning board and to the supervisor. The hold harmless agreement with Cornell 4-H was actually signed on July 27th, and their insurance was received as well. A complaint regarding 426 New Vernon Road and the Recreation Center fire alarm system bid minutes from July 25th. That's all that I have.
Thanks, Kathleen. Committee reports. What you got, Jim?
Village is moving along with their projects at the firehouse, the doors and the roofing. And the DCO vehicle is almost ready to go. It will be in this year at its parade on Saturday, their new vehicle. Just came back from paint, I believe.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of body work done, and now it's just waiting to be detailed, and they're ready to go.
ZBA, they approved Mr. Hoffman's variance, and the planning board will be meeting this, August 15th at 7 p.m. That's all I have.
Thanks, Jeff. Ryan?
I don't have a lot, but I do have some. Minnesota Youth Football is having a fundraiser tomorrow night down at Rita's between 6 and 9. So maybe after you come to the summer concert series, you can fly to another town and pick something up. Community Day. I want to talk a little bit about it since obviously I wasn't at the last meeting. One thing that I did want to add, and I said that I was going to have numbers for, Otisville Boy Scouts Troop 1 did the parking at the event. They actually collected, I believe, $1,000 more this year than they did the year prior for our first one. So the total amount that they collected was $2,253.33.
Wow.
Yeah, they did an awesome fundraiser. That's all I got.
Matt?
The comprehensive plan committee, we're very close to having a draft prepared at the committee level. We've got a couple more final adjustments to make. And then at that point, once we're happy with the draft, we're gonna bring that to the public. And we do have another meeting, but I don't have the date because I don't have that notebook with me. Our Veterans Day ceremony, our parade will be this year Saturday, November 10th. We've already got that booked and set up, just a couple more fine details, and then we'll get some more advertising invitations out for that, just like last year. And that's it this evening.
Thanks for that. The packet that I just handed out to everyone, the second page will show the Community Day expenses, and then the 2 pages behind it is the income coming in. Gave everyone a breakdown. Our net profit was $1,446.42 after all expenses, and I've already reached out to Bob Decker that does our CPR, AED, and also first aid training, and have 4 dates, 2 for the fall and 2 for the spring. Our proceeds, as we've done in the past, will continue to have free education for anyone that lives in Mount Hope to take the class, including the cost of their card. I also have a date for another Narcan class. Seems unfortunately that people are using it more and more, so it would be great to get as many people educated on how to use that. I thought I had one other thing that I wanted to say during the comments. We'll go back to Highway. Dean.
Just keep you up to date on what we've been doing. We finished all our oil and chip for the year. Today we assisted Town Crawford with a truck. They helped us when we did it. We're ready to stripe the roads. As most of you know, Eddie Van Leuven hasn't been with us since March. And he's usually our paint machine expert. So we're gonna break in some new guys this year. It's not gonna be easy, but we're gonna attempt to do it again ourselves. So just so everyone knows, I guess at the end of the month is a fundraiser for Ed too. Kathleen, do you have the date on that?
The 25th. Saturday, the 25th.
At the senior center, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, 1 to 5.
And you're
Just wanna
looking
make
for
everybody aware.
advance tickets, so.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We also did a lot of work up in the pool building. We're gonna probably get back there tomorrow. It was raining for the next couple of days, they're south telling us, so, that's what we've been doing. Also, we've been, of course, mowing the sides of the roads. I had a request from my clerk to go for some computer training. She requested to go to Excel Basics class held in Middletown on October 16th for $79. But I'm reading the brochure, I'd like her to go for 2 days. The second day would be on the basics for $128 total for 2 days. Both classes are in Middletown, so there's no travel. The last thing I have is I had a request today for pavilion rental, but it's a open to the public event. It's a fundraiser, I believe, for a scholarship. Miss Luann Lewis is in the audience today to answer any questions for you if you have questions on it before you approve it.
Absolutely. You want to do that now?
Sure.
You want to come up and just tell everyone what you're looking to do?
Sure. I'm holding him.
Yes, you know, we're having a fundraiser for a fine arts scholarship in Adrian's name. And we want it to be open to the community, so everybody can attend. And we're going to have a 50-50 raffle, and
We're raffling off some of her artwork, and we're gonna have live bands. And we were looking into food trucks to see what was involved in that.
so we have no experience with finding food trucks, so that's the last thing we really have to put together is figuring that out. So we're just
Okay.
seeking approval from the town to proceed with that.
Okay, well, I would be happy to give you a list of some of the food vendors that we use for Community Day.
Oh,
I had
okay.
food trailers.
Okay, great.
That's easy.
Mhm.
And as far as the use of the pavilion, it would be my recommendation that there is no charge or anything. This is for Adrian and lifelong resident of the community. I think it's a great thing, and if there's any objections from the board, otherwise, I'd love to see maybe even this become an annual event.
Mhm.
Or an annual.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I know planning things, it can be overwhelming, so, but you guys aren't alone, so the
Thank you.
community on it.
All right, awesome.
Thanks.
As far as, you would be a lot better if you had food trucks or a registered business, because they'll have the Board of Health approval, they'll have all of that, because they already are in the system. So they would be responsible for obtaining a permit from Orange County or any of that, and that way you guys could focus more on the other end of it. That's just my opinion.
No, I appreciate that.
So, like with Community Day, they have to fill out an application to go there. For Community Day, they spend a little bit of money for the spot, because obviously we put it back into the community, where they wouldn't have to do that at your event. But it clearly says that they have to have all of the approvals, the Board of Health approval, all of those things in order to be there.
Is there a form letter?
I can give you a copy of ours, and
That'd
then
be
maybe you
great. Yeah,
can
tweak it.
kind of tweak it.
Okay. That'd be great.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for them? Do you guys have a date, an exact date?
September 29th. It'll be an afternoon event.
Rain or shine?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
If you have some information, we can get it online on our Facebook page for you.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
great.
Yeah,
That'll be
we're
advertised.
hoping to have everything come together this week, because we're both going away.
So we want to get it done before we go.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, if you can get us a flyer, Brian takes care of the Facebook and you can get it on the.
Okay, great.
We'll have that done Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great, thanks.
All right, yeah.
No
Thank
other
you so
questions?
much.
I just wanted to mention too, Dom's on vacation. That was the. Police, Paul, you are up.
Great. Just a couple things. One, which has been the big issue we've been dealing with, is the County Route 11 road closure with the bridge and the detour. We've been getting tremendous amount of complaints. Some dealing with people, you know, as someone called me today, that people aren't stopping at the stop line. He had 2 cars drive through his front lawn because they didn't realize the road. Today we wrote about 30 tickets on Grange. Just today, the sheriff's office spoke to me today, the sheriff actually, and so they sent us a couple deputies tonight. We're gonna have more deputies out the next couple days. And I spoke to the highway, or Department of Public Works superintendent, and he sent some engineers out today, and they didn't realize there was gonna be some issues, so they're looking to move the detour. One thing they did not take into account, they didn't realize that there's bus stops on that road, as opposed to buses stopping at every driveway. So now that they've been made aware of that, they're gonna take that into consideration, because the kids do walk to the corners on that street. So, hopefully, they're going to take a look at it, and maybe we can get that detour issue resolved. But we're gonna continue the enforcement. I know the people today were thanking us for doing that. The road is getting beaten pretty well, even with the 12-ton weight limit. We spoke to Dick's Concrete today, because they keep running their trucks through there. They're gonna reroute them starting tomorrow, so hopefully that'll work out. The yard sale went well. I thought it went better than past years in terms of the traffic. I think that's, Diane had all the signs out, and the village guys, so that worked really well. Savannah Dooley started, last week was her first week actually out of the academy, and she started her training. She's been with Sergeant Perseno for a week. She's got a couple more days with her, and then she'll start with other field training. And the only request I have is, to send for overnight travel for Sergeant Persino, September 16th through the 18th for the Impact Conference. She's gone every year. She's our computer person. There is no cost. The conference is paid for by the company, so there'll be no cost for that. And other than that, unless there's any questions, I'm sorry, Jim, I got my back to you.
I have two questions.
Yes.
One, I know I personally got a lot of positive feedback from the speed trailer.
Yes.
Are you guys finding the same thing?
Yep, we seem to get a lot of positive feedback. It's been on Grange only because literally we probably got 50 complaints about speeders with that detour. But it will be moving tomorrow. I know the person who's building this is not happy, but I told him today we have to share it. We can't keep it where it is. So, but yes, we're getting a lot of positive feedback. I have a couple people ask for like another one. I'm like, well, let's just see how this goes.
Well, overwhelmingly, I think it's nice.
I have a question, the speed trailer. I know it catches the speeders coming toward it, but what about going away?
It does not.
That's not. 'Cause I
It's
noticed-
just, it's one dimensional as opposed to.
Cause I mean, people who could be going fast, slow this way, but going the other way, they can fly, you know, just curious.
It's the location of it.
Okay, I figure I asked.
Yep.
And my other question is, traditionally with the fair, do we usually close down Finchville?
Yeah, so Finchville is closed between Mount Hope Avenue and really Mill Pond Road. I mean, we let local traffic come up to, right up to the ball field, but the road is closed. That does help us with control of the fair.
I
and the
just
people
think it's
walking back
a
and
huge
forth.
issue with the detours now. I think it's a huge problem because we're kind of detouring people and if you're not from the area, you have no idea where you're going. I mean, when I detour, I go down Finchville. I mean, to make the other turn and go down Grange.
I did meet with Ed and Sue tonight, earlier this evening. They said, and maybe Jim can jump in with this, they said they made special signs up to assist with the detour.
Yes.
So there will be,
For the fair.
for the fair rather, I'm sorry, for the fair dealing with the detour, so there will be additional signage out there. I would think let's see what happens the first night. We can always, if we find there's some issues, we can always make, changes. Certainly that's up to the board, but I mean, that would be my suggestion.
I
Let's see
just-
how the new signs work. I didn't realize they had new signs until tonight.
Well, the signs are only for the fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the detour.
Right, I
Yeah.
get people getting to the fair. I get other people trying to navigate the town is what I kind of have a problem with.
I mean, they could go around the parking lot. Yeah, you know, it's not like you're gonna stop them, they could go all the way back to Finchville, you can route them through the parking lot and go, keep going, through.
So it's not necessary to close
It's
Finchville?
just, we just like to close off that section where all the people are walking through.
So historically, and what the plan is, what the op plan is that we've come up with, so you're gonna say, just past Dr. Roder's barn, the road is closed, there's horses going across, nobody can go through. So if you wanna go past that point, if you're an authorized person, someone from the Boy Scouts generally will physically remove the barricade and the car will go through. Otherwise, you would go into the parking area and either pay the
No, there's no charge.
fine, or if you tell them you wanna go through, they would route you around. That's the exception rather than the rule. On the other side, roughly at the pavilion driveway, or the driveway up to the back pavilion, is the same on that side. So you can go to that point, or you'll be forced into the Boy Scouts. And again, it's the exception rather than the rule that people go through. Most people turn around or avoid it. That's the historic way it's run, I think, as long as I've been here. And that's up to you, you guys do whatever you want with it, but I'm just letting you know how it's been.
Well, I just think there should be some way for through traffic, like even if there's a sign there at the Boy Scouts that says through traffic, you go this way, and you can go around. Because I'm telling you, there's 1,000 cars a day that are detouring now.
I think one of the problems is going to be the amount of pedestrians trying to cross through there. I think you're
So then
paying.
they're rerouted through the parking lot. But I think we advertised that they can be rerouted.
Bad idea.
Yeah, I don't think letting them run up and down Finchville like it is today with the people trying to come in and out.
Right. I agree with
Fair,
that.
but
I mean, we don't have the capability of putting barricades of code, we just don't have them. I mean, if the fair can come up with some, certainly we can take a look at it on Thursday or tomorrow, or Wednesday. If that's an option, that's fine.
Obviously, if the road wasn't closed, I wouldn't have a problem with it, and I think the detour, I think it's,
I say we play, see what happens on Thursday night, or, I mean, I was there today, and there wasn't that many cars going up in that road. Out there all day today.
I get that. What was our tally though?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Our tally was probably 5,000 for the week when we had the speed show.
Yeah, I have to double check, but there's a lot of cars that go through there.
So,
Do you know where the new detour is gonna be that the county
Well,
is
they're looking at,
into?
they're gonna do Finchville is my guess. I mean, I think that would be the next.
Did they have an estimate of when they're gonna?
I have not so what happened is the commissioner is still on vacation, he comes back tomorrow. The county executive's office told me he was gonna call me tomorrow. He though responded to the email and sent people up there today. I have not spoken to anyone other than the email that he has directed them to look at alternatives. So I have no idea. I think Finchville is a wider road and it's got shoulders on it, would be, you know. But that would be a major problem during the fair. Correct. That'd be, and I don't know how quick it takes them to do that. One of the questions I have, and I was gonna ask Dean, can the town or can the county or set an emergency or a special speed limit without going through the regular state request? So can you lower the speed limit, or can they? Because clearly they changed the weight limit, which, you know, I don't know if you guys really want to get into that tonight, but the county on their own changed the weight limit on that road, on Mill Pond and Grange Road without the board or the highway superintendent's authorization. So can they do the same for speed limit? I mean, if they lowered the speed limit to say 25 or 30, that might help. And I don't know the answer to that question.
I don't believe that you can without knowing the state, unless it's like an emergency situation.
Yeah. So the signs on Mill Pond and Grange for the weight limits are now 12 tons. That was done by the county on our roads. Julie was here last week looking for the records. There's no record of that. So they just changed it on their own. So I don't know if they can do that for the speed as well.
Those signs have been out for a number of years.
They put stickers over them?
Oh, they changed the.
The weight.
The weights, yeah,
Okay.
there's new, they were 5 and 9 tons, is that what I think Julie said? Yeah, there's new stickers on the weights part saying they're 12,
yeah, now all of a sudden you have a very
so.
All right, so what's your thought? Do you wanna do something about it now, or you wanna? I haven't been through there, but
But where are they having a problem with, and going on people's property?
Well, that was at the corner of Mill Pond and Grange, where the road ends, people are, I saw it today, like, personally, I witnessed the tractor trailer overshot Grange and locked up his brakes and shot through the intersection, but he kept it on the pavement. The person that lives at the corner who showed me the tire tracks that go straight through his lawn. Which, you know, I told him to call the county, see if they'll help him out, that I have no control over fixing his lawn.
Would we be able to, for the 4 days of the fair, instead of having, you know, using the Finchville as a detour, having either go, if you're coming through Highland, go up Seabolt Mountain Road on, you know, Homestead, Finchville, and out that way, the same way to come around to avoid that whole loop? Could we have signs for that purpose for the days of the fair, if they're up to do that?
Honestly,
So we
I
don't
would
have the
say,
traffic
at this
on
point,
Finchville?
since they haven't even done anything with it yet, they just sent people out today, like, my suggestion would be, and this would be up to the traffic engineers, obviously, to leave it in place until Monday. We've gone through it for 2 weeks, we'll put extra officers out there. The sheriff's department also, after I spoke to them, they're sending deputies to sit out there when they can, so maybe manage it for the short time. But we have someone basically been on Grange since this has gone into effect. That's the worst of it. Mill Pond gets some, but the speed limit's a little bit higher. Grange has gotten the worst of it. So, I mean, I don't know what Dean's thoughts are on that.
Yeah, that's what I saw this morning when I was out there.
But, I mean, that would be my thing. Maybe we just do the best we can till Monday. But that would, again, I don't know what kind of authority they have to change detours. I mean, I don't know if they care. They say they do, but I don't know.
I don't know, it's up to you have no problem with playing it by ear, but we're having another board meeting, so.
I mean, do you think there's enough room, like on a fireworks night, like where you can get people to move around through that parking lot?
The Boy Scouts leave enough room to go through. Or-
I think there should be a thorough way through, there should be a way through. I
That's
mean,
really,
nothing, there isn't.
in my opinion, that's no safer than letting them go down the road if you're sending traffic through a parking lot.
Right.
You could have kids running in and out
Agree.
from behind cars. That's more dangerous than having them on the road.
Maybe
I mean, the
one night.
parking lot, again, would be the exception rather than the rule. I don't think you want regular traffic going through there. I mean, if someone really insists on getting through, you can probably get them through, but not more than a couple people,
People may
realistically.
say they're going through and park free, whatever, you know,
They'd be stealing from the Boy Scouts, so.
not, people steal from a lot of people.
All right, well, I'll move that down to the bottom. Let's move it along.
I just wanted to, can I say one thing to Dean, since I missed it, the guardrail, I think looked awesome, and I think worked out perfectly for community.
Anything else from Jen?
Hopefully it controls it down to just 2 crosswalks there.
And no one hit it, which was even better.
I think it was great for Little League season as well, because
Absolutely.
it really kept the people confined. It was great.
And I think for Little League, I think the one complaint for Community Day was people wanted to know if there was more access for handicapped for wheelchairs, but as long as they're up near the main entrance, right, they can push on the dirt and go in. I think it worked out great. Forgot to say that.
I'd like a motion to approve training for Amy on October 16th,
16th and 17th.
17th, for a total amount of $128.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second the motion?
all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like a motion to approve Anna Brasina going to training September 16th to the 18th for Impact Education.
Make that motion.
Second,
Second the motion?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Village of Otisville, Diana?
I actually don't have anything, things are pretty quiet. I do wanna thank Paul and his staff for all their help on Saturday. I agree completely, I think it was the smoothest running as far as traffic went. And you mentioned, your new rookie, Officer Dooley, she stood out there, what a trooper, in the beating sun all day long with a smile on her face, handing out maps to everybody who came along. Several people mentioned to me what a help she had been, and I did say to her that she really understood the concept that our community yard sale isn't really just about selling stuff. The goal of the municipality in having that event is that it'll be a fun day for people, but it's to bring people into the community who might not otherwise come. To look around, to say, wow, this is a really nice place. And I know I had an email from someone who said, I just wanted you to know that I was walking my dog and there were some people in front of me who had come to the yard sale, and they were talking about the fact that we never even knew this place existed. Look, it's got everything you need. There's a grocery store, there's the post office, there's a beauty salon, there's a liquor store, there's a hardware store. And that's what it's really all about. And having the officers like Savannah there welcoming them is just one more thing to say, yeah, this is a really good place. So thank you very much.
One thing she did different, she handed a map out to everybody. Like,
Yes.
she thought that that map, we only went through maybe 10 last year. I think we went through a couple hundred this year. We had to run extra copies. Like, every single
And I
person got a
stopped-
map.
I stopped at one point and said to her, do you need more maps? And she was like, sure, give it to me.
Yeah, she kind of redefined that role, so the person that gets it next year
It was
will.
great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Summer recreation, everything, we're in our final week. Double bounce houses this week, they had them today, they'll have them again on Friday. Last Friday's weather wasn't looking so good. As it comes to a close, Dean, we have availability to pick up stuff there.
Yes,
I was hoping maybe Thursday, finish it on Friday-ish,
that's the 24th.
this week.
This week?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're done Friday.
6 weeks.
I'm praying that we have, the art director actually won't be there the last day, so I'm gonna see if I can get all of her stuff packed up by Thursday. And then, that way Friday maybe wouldn't be as bad. I would like a motion to accept the resignation of
Just if we can put
Stu
this
Carter
stuff
from
where it
the
used to
Board of
be,
Assessment
not
Review.
in the middle.
I'll make the
Then
motion to
move
accept the
stuff against the
resignation.
wall.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
And then,
Aye.
because we have to move it to the construction. we move it-
Dean, I know you're still working on it, I talked to you about it this morning, getting some prices for the basketball and the tennis.
Yeah, we had a contractor there last week. I didn't get his numbers yet as of tonight before the meeting. But I was telling a couple councilmen earlier, he is on the Orange County bid, so if his numbers look good, legally, we could use him without getting any other quotes. And it's the same contractor that did the parking lots,
Perfect.
so hopefully his numbers look good.
Newsletter, I did get it from some people, I did not get it from some people. So, please do me a favor, and if you can, within this next week or so, I know I had a date that it was due. But the progression on doing it has kind of slowed, so I'm hoping to kick that into high gear and get our newsletter going out, hopefully within the next few weeks. So please remember to get me if you want to put anything in there. We had the bid opening, as Kathleen had said, for the Recreation Center fire alarm system. Is there any questions on any of these? So we basically are still moving along with, we've almost finished up the first $100,000 grant from Senator Bonasac. Fully executed on my desk is the $125,000, the first $125,000 from Aileen Gunther. Simply meaning, as soon as we do work, we just simply send the bill in, and then we get reimbursed up to the $125,000. So we are in good shape to move forward without using any taxpayer money on the community center. Because they all met with our engineer, and they were all given the same specs, my opinion would be that we could go with the lowest bidder. They all have specs from the engineer as to how many different things have to go in and how they have to go in, so.
These are all over the place, too.
Yep. So my recommendation is that we would go with Joseph Warren Electrical, 14 West Lake Road, Warwick, New York, for the amount of $23,978.
I'll make the motion, we approve Joseph Warren Electrical for the amount of $23,978.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so last meeting, we talked about Rose Phillips doing another little library out here. So it was already discussed, it was done, it was over, and then she had told me she had a appointment to come down and see me. So I couldn't quite understand exactly why she was coming down when we had already said, yeah, everything was already good. But long and short of it, she has a lot of books. And I was explaining to her in the future community center, like right now, part of it is actually starting to be framed out. So on the right side of it will be pretty much for the youth to use. And on the left side is gonna be exercise equipment. And then there's going to be a room, which I think came out to like 16 by 18, the size of the room, which will have a few computers in it with internet and also a small resource center. Not a library, it will be where what Rose does with these books on a much larger scale. If somebody wants to go in there, sit and read a book, maybe they don't exercise while their kid is playing on the other side, Maybe they just wanna read a book, maybe they wanna research something. It's not a full-fledged library, it's just basically you can take a book, leave a book. So, long and short of it, she would like to spearhead this, and actually go out to, as her gold award project, and see if she can get some funding. And when we build the room, she could possibly furnish this room. And I think she's done great by the village and town by doing a little library. She's gonna do another one out front here. I've never met a little girl that likes to read so much and takes so much pride in other people doing it. So I did explain to her that we had people over there working, and I couldn't take her over there so she could visualize it yet. But we're gonna meet within the next month or two, and I'm gonna take her over there and kind of show her how big the room and stuff's gonna be. Her mom was excited, and I think in a perfect world, hopefully early spring, we might be able to make this happen. But this paper just kind of explains what she was kind of hoping to do. So I did tell her, she said she did a couple fundraisers on her own last time. And I did mention to her that the Boy Scouts have come several times to our Rotary Club for their Eagle Project, and her eyes kind of lit up. So I said, there's so many service groups, there's, you know, Lions and Kiwanis and Rotary, and if you have all of your stuff and you're, you know, just go there and explain, and maybe they could kind of help you out a little bit. So she was in the process of putting everything together, and then hopefully solicit the local groups and see how productive she can be. So that's that. The estimate sheets for all of the departments, Kathleen sent out for me last week. So hopefully next meeting or two, we will schedule a couple of workshops. Once I get these back, we'll schedule some budget workshops, and we'll make the budget happen, budget process. Again, that was just kind of to let everyone know. How about a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make the motion, we pay our bills.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public participation. Oh, I'm loving it.
No, wait a minute. Can't let this happen. Are you gonna decide on the Finchville Road thing for the fair, or what? I thought you were gonna rediscuss that now, or?
I'm sorry, ma'am, what's your name?
My name is Angel Marizio. And I have 3 minutes to talk.
Take that 2 minutes.
You could do it more, Dom's not here.
Were you gonna rediscuss that now or not?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You want me to do it during your 3 minutes?
No.
Okay. Did you have anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. What's everybody's thought on it? Leave it?
We do put a sign up. I mean, if they wanna come through, I say we try it through the parking lot. If they, I mean, people usually go pretty slow through there. I mean, people don't wanna bang their cars up with the potholes.
And I think you're 100% right, Jim. I just think because of the detour, we're gonna have people that don't normally. That's the only issue. If there wasn't the detour, there is no issue. It always runs great the way it's done.
I say we see what happens the first night.
You know?
If a lot of complaints, then we'll have to revisit it.
How are we gonna revisit it? We're not having a meeting.
Jim, is the Finchville and Mill Pond, where the barricade is there, is that a manned station, or is that just a barricade that says fair
First
traffic
night, the
only?
first couple nights, we have a security guard up there, manning the station for a few hours.
Maybe that would be, you know, if that was a permanent thing for duration of the fair, this way it wouldn't have the people wanting to go down that road if they come up there because of the detour. You know, someone that can give them directions, you can turn left here and get to this location or that location. At least on that end, there's nobody at the Mount Hope Avenue side of Finchville, correct?
Yes, they should have someone stationed there
There
too.
too?
Yeah, for the first 2 nights. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday we don't have anybody.
Would that be a better option? This way, you know what I mean, they get to that point, they're not trying to get down and in through where all the people are in the parking lot.
Well, I'm trying to think, we had one event there, and somebody was trying to tell you somewhere to go, remember that?
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing,
But that's,
I
they gotta
remember
know,
that.
they gotta know where they're going, you know what I mean, you don't want someone from Kansas giving directions that they don't know.
That I think too was, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the event was like at 9 o'clock at night. There was more to it.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, I just think, like Paul's saying, with people going into people's yards because they don't know the roads, those are the same people we're gonna deal with. All of our local people that know all about the fair, we're not gonna have a problem with.
Yeah, but the detour sign is pointing
Yeah.
toward Grange. I mean, that's,
Right.
I don't see it pointing going toward Finchville a lot.
No.
They have it, you know, toward Grange, detour sign that the county put up. Is that correct?
That's if they follow
Yeah.
the actual signs. There's also a stop sign, but yet they go through it into the so.
That we can't stop. It's, you know, people, some people, you know.
Right.
I'm just saying that the county sign is pointing toward Grange.
I'm willing to do whatever, I think it's gonna be,
Can I ask a question? Are the police gonna be there? Can the police be on Mount Hope Road there, or Mount Hope Avenue directing?
all day.
I don't know. I'm not
We
putting it down.
historically do not. The other
Okay.
issue is the fair pays for us, so,
I
I
know
mean,
that.
that'd be additional cost to them. Plus, I don't know if we could man it all day, to be honest with you.
Okay.
What's your thought?
I just don't know what it's gonna turn out to be. I just thought I'd be a little proactive, but now, obviously, after talking about it, the parking lot's not any better, so.
But listen to Paul, and he said Friday to Monday. The police chief said that.
What did I say?
Didn't you say to play by ear till Monday?
I said, let's wait, I said, let's see what happens Thursday night and we can reevaluate Friday morning, I think is what I said.
I think what she's referring to is, you said maybe the county should wait moving the detour
Oh,
till
I think
after
the,
Monday.
right, I think the county
that's
should
what-
not, right, that I agree with, the county should not change that detour until the fair is over.
Okay.
I think we deal with that part of it for the weekend. I mean, Jim, could those security guys that are at the corner, could they give like a map handout, kinda like Savannah did? That shows the detours?
Create something. I mean, right now we don't have anything made up.
Staples.
What about making the road one way? That wouldn't work. You have to turn around and park and go out.
Yeah, you would still have that, still be allowed.
What's your thought, Dean? You've been through this a million times.
What about you two live there, what's
Trucks
your
in the road.
thoughts? Does it matter one way or another?
It matters to me in the fact that you have organizations that are local, such as Holy Name Church and the Lions Club and whoever else is involved in the fair that are there to, you know, make a little profit and have a good time. And we need to enable the customers to get in there as easily as they can.
I think they're getting in there easily enough and parking. I don't think that's a question,
Okay.
Angel. I mean, they're pulling in, right? That's not up to a certain point where they're going in, parking.
No, I'm looking at the detours and all.
Okay, well, oh, I'm sorry, Diane.
We had the same concerns about the detours when people follow them the day of the yard sale. And I think Jim kind of alluded to the fact that they had additional signage they were gonna put out. What we did was that at every detour sign, we put a yard sale sign. So if people were looking for the yard sale, they knew, okay, follow that detour. So I think it would really help if you had fair signs that could be at every one of the detour signs. And then I think the people who don't know their way around will come in just the way you want them to on Grange Road. But if you don't have something connecting the detour with the fair, they're gonna do whatever, you know, we all know that. But it worked for the yard sale, so I think
But I think that's what they did do, is my
We
understanding,
have
right?
signs that say Orso Country Fair detour with arrows going this way or this
Right.
way, depending on which way, you know, you're
Right.
turning. We do
Well,
have them made up.
And I think they'll follow that.
At the end of White Bridge Road on this end, on 211 end, you have no sign.
We didn't put them out yet.
Okay.
We just got them today.
Okay, so if you guys want, we'll wait through Thursday, and if you see me out there Friday, you know that we're changing things around. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we can't second guess it. The chances of them ever doing another detour during the time of the fair is
We never
probably
know.
slim, so.
We had the same problem a couple years ago with the Headland Bridge
Yep.
closure. It happens.
So,
Do you want a motion to make the decision for Friday, like you have our support, whatever happens, if you gotta change it, you change it? I don't know
can I
that you
do
need
that,
it.
David?
I mean, I don't think you need a motion, I think it's just a direction, basically, that if the police chief and or the highway department or any other agent of the town deems it necessary to change that route, they're allowed to do so. I don't think you necessarily need board approval for it, because really, you know, most of these plans are set up in advance, it'd just be a change on the fly. So,
Okay, it's just a public safety,
Mhm.
that's all I'm
Yeah.
worried about. All right, moving on. Anything, anybody else?
Yes.
Diane?
I just have a couple of things.
Now, you've already used 30 seconds. I'm only kidding.
What is your name, ma'am?
Diane Loven. Actually, the first thing is directed to Kathleen as a Lions Club member as opposed to a board person. If Luann or Laura can get you the information by the 15th, could that, about the Art in the Park fundraiser, could that go into the O-Boys?
Of course.
Second, at Fair, we do have the Hometown Helper Art Raffle. We ask all of you to please come over and take a look. We have 24 items. We actually had more than that donated. So we had to save some because of space for next year. We have a new banner which dedicates the art raffle from here on in to the memory of Adrian because it was her baby. And we're really proud of the fact that we were able to pull it together and still do it in spite of her not being there. We always said we couldn't fundraise without her, and I think she's helping us from above. So please stop in, take a look. We'd like you to buy tickets, but if not, just see what magnificent things have been donated for this raffle. Third is the Mount Hope Seniors. We have a trip Thursday the 16th, so you'll see some cars in the parking lot. We're going to the Westchester Broadway Dinner Theater, so it's a pretty short day. You shouldn't interfere with anything. And lastly, also with the seniors, when you're dealing with Rose and talking about, you know, what she wants to do, don't forget, we have hundreds and hundreds of books in the senior center right now.
Wow.
And so much so that we're giving boxes of them away to other agencies.
So, we were actually, I think we had to take our box out of here, right, Kathleen? But
Yeah.
they're,
It's actually hiding in the vault.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
at their
As soon as
capacity.
people know they can donate, you know, like, so,
Which is great.
if they need books, you know, that will serve everybody's purpose.
Awesome.
That's all I have.
Anybody else? Board comments? What do you got, Matt?
No comments this evening.
Brian?
No comments.
Jim?
Just want to say, last Saturday was a great event, the the Historical Society Trick or Treat. That was a good turnout, it was a lot of fun. And just hope to see everyone at the fair this weekend. That's it.
See everybody at the fair too.
I just have a quick thing, going back to the discussion with regard to the traffic pattern for the fair, just make sure that you both have the contact information for the organizers and vice versa, because right now I believe you have the plan on file. So if a change needs to be made, we'd rather everybody know about it, so one agency isn't, you know, moving people in the wrong directions.
We're a small town, everybody sees each other.
That's for sure.
All right, I think, Dean, I'm good, I got what you wanted, right?
Yes.
Paul, you're good? All right, Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Second?
All in favor?
Yeah, it just got moved to the middle, I just don't want that to be the new way. Oh, it stayed.
The Fair Club.